So, good day, everyone. Welcome to our first session about the English language. For today's lesson, we shall be emphasizing first on the importance of studying the English language. Then, we will move on to the differences between the formal and informal language. So, um, what do you think are the reasons that there's a need for us to learn the English language? English is considered as the most commonly spoken language in the world. Out of five people can speak or at least understand English, especially here in the Philippines. There's some who can understand the language, however, some of them could not actually speak the language. English is also considered as the language of science, of aviation, computers, diplomacy, tourism, and a lot more, even in business. Knowing English increases your chances of getting a good job in a different company, not only here in the Philippines, but also in the different parts of the world. So, English is spoken by 53 countries, which also includes the Philippines. And it is spoken by around 400 people around the world. English is also the language of the internet. That is why many websites are written in English. Here you will be able to understand these people and to take part in forums and discussions. English is based on a simple alphabet, that is why it's very easy to learn. There's really just a need for us to study the grammar and the correct usage, especially when it comes to formal and informal language. If you speak English, there are lots of opportunities for you to find an appropriate school and course that suit your academic needs. And also, by learning English, you will be able to learn about the different culture. And few experiences will make you grow as a person more than learning the values, habits, and way of life in a culture that is different from yours. Okay, so with that introduction, I will be now focusing my lecture on the informal and formal language. So let's differentiate these two. Okay, so formal versus informal language. Okay, so let's define first the formal language register. Formal language register is impersonal, not written for a specific person, and is written without emotion. It strictly follows the rules of grammar in formal affairs like State of the Nation address, privileged speeches, technical writing, or articles on serious subjects. Since most of you are in college, so there's really need for you to be particular with the ways on how to write articles in a technical manner or a technical form. Just like when you're writing your essay, your especially your thesis, or when you're writing communication letters, business proposals, among others. So formal language is very much needed. How about informal language? So informal language is used when we are writing or speaking to someone we know very well. So there are no major rules in formal writing. For as long as you're able to communicate and to connect to these people, then informal language is very useful. So it is usually used in a casual conversation. Again, it does not strictly conform to grammar rules, but it does not necessarily mean that grammar rules should not be entirely taken into account. So that's the difference or the differences between informal and formal language. So this time, I will be showing you some examples of formal and informal language and how to use formal language compared to the informal language. So the first one is say sorry. Say sorry is an informal language. So what is the formal language for say sorry? So we use apologize. So the formal language used to replace say sorry is apologize. So for example, this is to say sorry about the wrong products we sent you. So instead of saying this is to say sorry, we use this is to apologize about the wrong products we sent you, or we would like to express our apology about the wrong products we sent you. The next set of word is go up, go down, and these are their formal language counterparts, increase and decrease. Of course, goes up, goes down, increases, decreases. That depends on the subject verb agreement. So, for example, the price of the product goes up due to shortage of supply. The price of the product goes down due to numbers of supply. So these are their formal language counterparts. The price of the product increases due to shortage of supply. The price of the product decreases due to numbers of supply. So you notice that we just replace the terms goes up and goes down, and we use the terms increases and decreases. So that what makes it more formal as compared to the first set of sentences. Then we have look at, and its formal language counterpart is examine. So, for example, there is a need to look at the changes on the purchasing behavior of the customers. So instead of using look at, we use the term examine. So we say there is a need to examine the changes on the purchasing behavior of the customers. Next is put off, wherein we can use two terms in replace of put off, which is informal. So we say postpone or delay. Again, that postponed, that depends on the subject verb agreement and the tense of the verb. So for example, we would like to inform you that the meeting has been put off and will be rescheduled. Put off. For formal language, we say we would like to inform you that the meeting has been postponed and will be rescheduled, or has been delayed and will be rescheduled. Okay? So next set of word is it's about, it concerns, or it's in regards to. Sometimes we use with regard to. Okay? For examples, this letter is about the wrong product delivered in our house dated December 5. So we use the term is about. So we do not use that in formal statement. Instead, we say this letter concerns the wrong product delivered in our house dated December 5. So we change it concerns instead of using it concerns. It's the same thing with the letter concerns. Okay, it's just that we are very much particular of pertaining to the letter. That is why we remove the pronoun it. Instead, we replace it with this letter. It's still the same thing. So another one is in regards to this, we would like to inform you of the wrong product delivered in our house dated December 5. So as you notice, we do not use it's or it, okay, because it is replaced by the word or by the term this in regards to this. So it's still the same thing. Okay, so again, we are using these terms in formal statement. Formal statement. Then we have give the go ahead. Sounds like informal. Give the go ahead. And its formal term is authorize. Authorize. So, for examples, this is to give the go ahead, Mr. Christopher Ellis, to claim the amount on my behalf. Give the go ahead, meaning to allow or to authorize if you'll be using it in formal language. Hence, we use this term. This is to authorize Mr. Christopher Ellis to claim the amount on my behalf. Give the go ahead to authorize. Then we have anyways, which is informal. Its formal counterpart is nevertheless. For example, anyways, this report is forwarded to reach your attention. This report is forwarded to reach your attention. So in lieu of anyways, we use nevertheless. You just change anyways to nevertheless to make it more formal. So in all these examples, let us assume that we are writing a letter to someone. So since the letter is a formal form of writing, so most of these examples that I am showing here are assumed to be part of a letter. Next, plus and also. Plus and also. Although we say that also can be used as a formal term, but as a transitional device, we should use a more formal language as a transitional device. So the more formal term in lieu of plus and also are the words moreover and furthermore if we will be using these as a transitional device. So let's say for example, plus this report is forwarded to your attention, or also this report is forwarded to reach your attention. So instead of using plus and also, we use moreover, this report is forwarded to reach your attention, or furthermore, this report is forwarded to reach your attention. Next is to sum up and in conclusion, which are also used commonly as transitional device in a letter or in most technical writing or business report writing stuff. For example, to sum up, this report is forwarded to reach your attention. Or in conclusion, this report is forwarded to reach your attention. So these are the other sets of informal and formal words. So instead of using lots of, a lot of, we use much, many. Instead of using tons of, heaps of, we use large quantities, or a number of, or numbers of. Totally, we use completely and strongly, completely or strongly. And really and very, we use definitely. So this is another set of informal and formal language. For abbreviations, we're not actually using abbreviations in technical writing or informal writing. So we're used to use a ASAP wherein we just have to use as soon as possible instead of ASAP, or TV, just use television, photograph, cell or CP. Sometimes we should use cell phone. Instead of using net, we have to use internet or internet. Another one, these are another set of commonly used informal terms wherein they have their formal terms. Okay, so kids, we use children. Bad, we use negative. Let's say, for example, the the said chemical has bad effects to our health. So instead of using bad effect, we use negative effects. So it's more scientific. Then good, we say positive. The good effect of this medicine. Instead of using the good effect of the medicine, we say the positive effect of the medicines is, okay, really big. We don't use really big for formal language. Instead, we use considerable, considerable, and right. Let's say, for example, the responses of the respondents are right enough. Okay, instead of using right, we use correct enough. Okay, the responses of the respondents are correct enough. Correct. Wrong, we don't use wrong for formal language. Instead, we use incorrect. Incorrect. Instead of using smart, we use intelligent in formal language. Instead of using cheap, the product is cheap. The product that you sent as is cheap, so it sounds like informal. So we use the product you sent as looks inexpensive. Inexpensive. Then we have loaded. Instead of using loaded, we use rich. Let's say, for example, the the food product you sent us is loaded with health benefits. Loaded with health benefits. So instead of using that, which sounds informal, we use the term the the food products you sent us is rich with or rich in health benefits. Rich in health benefits. So it sounds more formal now. So those are some of the commonly used formal and informal language. So we are not saying that we should discredit the use of informal language in our everyday adherence. It's just so happen that when we are writing or we are dealing with formal um, occasion, let's say for example we're invited in a formal occasion wherein there is a need for us to sound formal, then there's really a need for us to be particular of all these formal languages. Or if we are writing a letter, if you're applying for a job and you write your application letter, then of course you have to use formal language, and that will make you more um, more intelligent enough or more that will give you a lot more opportunities for you to be considered to land a job. So again, informal language should not be discredited. It is very much relevant, especially if we are in our casual conversation to other people. For us to look more natural, then informal language is very much needed. But again, in a formal occasion, formal language should also be utilized. So that would be all. Thank you very much for listening on our first topic.